Ebanks.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, welcome. Thank you very much for being a part of this magnificent Monday as we talk to you, invite you to share about our National Heroes Day. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us. And as we celebrate our people, we have a wonderful opportunity to not just, make them realize how much we love them, but give them a chance to be celebrated publicly. So, as we have the wonderful company of both Ms. Teresa and Ms. Mel, ladies, thanks very much for taking a few minutes. I know your schedule is very busy, but hopefully, as a call for invitations. Now, as we're discussing with Drew Straws, first to Ms. Teresa, a proper introduction of yourself, and set us up, and then Ms. Mel.
Alrighty, good afternoon, Cayman. My name is Teresa Cole-Dawes, and I am the Acting Communications Manager with the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage.
And I am Melanie Macfield-Temporal, and I'm the Director of Programs and Communications with the Cayman National Cultural Foundation and a proud member of this year's National Heroes Day Committee.
If this wasn't so serious, I'll pick up my note and I'll pretend that I'll be the Democratic presidential nominee, and I'll read, my name is, because they got to read their stuff, they don't know their names. I say that because there's something about our people that invites laughter and celebration. And when we talk about, the cultural artists and creatives, and that being the stage for next year's celebration, we have so many wonderful people, from the storytellers to the culinary enthusiasts to so much. And we say we don't have much, but we do. We just need to not just uncover it, we need to celebrate it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm recognizing that, as you shared, you've got a few minutes that you want to share with us, so we'll make the best use of it. But reflecting on our earlier conversations before we started, it's fantastic. We have wonderful people here.
We do.
Right, Ms. Teresa?
And CNCF celebrates those people every year as well.
Yes.
So this topic was definitely near and dear to our hearts. And it's so easy for us to put forward so many people for us to put forward,
but for the country.
Names, for the country.
Yeah.
Because they're out there.
They are.
Yes, this is certainly an exciting theme, especially for the ministry, because we are all about culture and heritage and preserving that. And also, it's personal to me because I'm a creative myself. I did drama all through high school with Miss Nasaria Sakushalet, and so she was a big inspiration in my life. So I love this theme, and I'm super excited to see all the nominations come in and see who will be receiving the awards.
Hey, Ms. Mel, it's not very much time remaining for us to make those nominations. But when we think about it, okay, September's almost done. As Mama say, 2 licks and a promise, and it'll be Christmas, and then New Year. So it's not long from now.
Not long from now. October 15th is that deadline, and 11:59 p.m. If you have not submitted your nominations by that time, There will be no extensions. So we've given people, and we're giving people ample time to think about who you want to put forward and really put those applications together with all the supporting documentation that it should accompany.
So 11:59 p.m. That's just just before midnight.
12 a.m.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you will be there to receive them in person,
I'm
hand
sitting at the
delivered.
computer waiting.
I thought it was
And the library, all the places where they're being accepted.
No, it again. That's that creative laughter that we have, that banter, and promoting something that's serious. We can see how a little bit of levity can bring sobriety in a sense, right? And so, what are the criteria? What are the categories? Tell us as much as you want us.
Okay, so this year's theme for the 2024 National Heroes Day Award Ceremony is cultural artists and creatives. And what that means is that we're looking for persons whose creative and artistic work has served to integrate, preserve, bring awareness, and educate on Caymanian culture and heritage. And so this year we have 3 themes, which I'll let Melanie speak about.
So we have 3 exciting categories this year. Cherished Classics, which is for early pioneers. And this category will be limited to only the top 14 nominations from across all 3 islands. And it's important to make it known and clear that this is for the Cayman Islands. So we want Little, Cayman Brac and Grand Cayman putting forward their nominations. The other category that we're looking at as well is the Cultural Luminary, which is for pioneers as well, and the cultural heritage groups. I can get into more details about each of these categories. So to be selected for the Cherished Classics, an individual must have produced artistic and creative work which strictly aims to integrate, preserve, bring awareness, and educate on the culture and heritage of the Cayman Islands, and remained popular, cherished, and appreciated across multiple generations for their artistic and creative work. So we put that word cherished into the actual category. For the cultural luminary, an individual must have evidently dedicated 20 plus years of consistent excellence through their artistic and creative work, produced artistic and creative work which strictly aims to integrate, preserve, bring awareness, and educate on the cultural and heritage of the Cayman Islands, and received an award by an accredited and recognized body in the Cayman Islands or internationally for their artistic and creative work reflecting the culture and the heritage of the Cayman Islands, i.e. a CNCF award, for example. And the cultural heritage groups, a group must have evidently dedicated 20 plus years of consistent excellence through their artistic and creative work, produced artistic and creative work, which strictly aims to integrate, preserve, bring awareness, and educate on the culture and heritage of the Cayman Islands, and produced artistic and creative work voluntarily within the Cayman Islands. So you can see that what's consistent in each category is the integration, preservation, and bringing awareness and education of culture and heritage in the Cayman Islands.
And I think the word "and" as opposed to or some other word is very, very significant.
Yes.
And as I listen to you, there are many names and groups that immediately sort of come to the surface and, 2 more seconds to think and you go, oh. So there are a lot of people, Mr.
Absolutely. Caymanians are very talented, and we have a lot of creatives and artists out there. And so we are encouraging the public to take some time to really think about it. Think about our musicians. Those bands, they may not be in existence today, but they did their work and they should be recognized. We have poets, we have storytellers, we have painters, we have culinary artists. There's so many fields that this covers, and so we want to make sure that these people in these fields are getting recognized for the great work that they have done.
And I'm glad you referenced the bands, because sometimes when we hear these, maybe only later that we realize, I could have nominated that person, that group. We don't realize that they fall within these categories.
Exactly. Yep.
And now there are some who may have passed, decades ago, perhaps just recently, but we've always think back to them. And even though they may have been recognized, with respect, Mr. Radley and say, Mr. Duxer, just as an example, but their works still continue to positively influence us today. There are more. Hope he doesn't mind. A good friend, Ray Banker. He was doodling and dabbling in school because his intellect was way beyond what was being presented in the class. But look at how he's been consistently. So there are many people that we can think of.
And it's important to note too that even though a band or a group can be nominated, individuals within that group can also be nominated for an individual award.
I mean, think of MOG. I think probably almost all of us would immediately recognize them. Say, they were trailblazers.
Yes.
But to this day, Lamy still stands out.
Yes.
He's still performing. He's still, enjoying, celebrating life.
Yep.
Wow. To say I knew those people.
Yeah. Do you know who MOJ is, Teresa?
Oh, come on. Don't.
Sitting here
Oh, man.
Memory of justice.
I'm making us now.
I know. Putting age to you and I.
Hey.
But yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, I look at, say, Rudy, for instance, in particular, highlight different people, and as they played music, it wasn't just something that they did as a pastime. Perhaps in other jurisdictions, they may have become the third worlds of the world. They have made celebrated, like, what English group with a guy with a big mouth? Oh, Mick Jagger? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, his mouth is big. He sings. All right? Maybe as prolific as Rod Stewart. But in the Cayman context, we kick them to the curb because they're from some corner. This is their time to let them know that their works still inspire and will not go unrecognized. Yeah. Absolutely. So we got to do it until midnight, 11:59. You said
11:59.
On the 15th of October.
On the 15th, and to access the forms, please visit us at www.gov.ky/YSCH. And you can fill out your form there, upload all of your documents, whether that's video, a PDF. Photo, we accept all formats and submit that through in time for the deadline.
Is it only, I mean, we joked earlier, but is it only online that nominations and forms can be submitted?
Yes, it is only online. I think this is the best way to do it just because it helps to keep everything streamlined and just makes it easier for the committee to be able to review once the deadline has passed.
And hopefully I don't confuse this, but I had someone ask. Some of us will print off things, we'll fill it out by hand or we type it out, whichever, then we scan it and put it back up. Because that's online, it's email. But this way, tell me how it works.
When you go to the website, you go to gov.ky/YSCH, and you're going to look for the nominate for NHD button, and it's going to take you to the form, and it has all of the instructions there that you're going to fill out, and it's pretty easy to follow, so you just kind of follow the instructions. We are not encouraging people to print it off and things like that because sustainability, and also we just want to make sure that we receive your application via the form that we've created online.
And it works easy because the form, you can filter online. You just go through the little boxes there. You put the information in, and as you go from one tab to the next.
And I should mention that if there's anyone out there who may not be tech savvy and would like some assistance, we've also partnered with the public libraries for assistance. So you can go there and they can help you fill out the form. You just need to make sure that you have all of the necessary documentation with you, which is the proof that Melanie spoke about before. So whether it's links to music or documents that you can upload, you would need to bring that with you so that you can fill out the form accordingly.
Okay. And what about if someone's not quite sure? They think I want to nominate this person, but not sure. Is there a helpline?
Well, yes.
Can call just to
absolutely. There's an email address, and we highly encourage people to send emails through to nhd@gov.ky, or you can call us on 244-2424. Okay. 244-2424, which is a pretty easy number to remember.
And that's available 24. No, just kidding.
Yeah, no, it's not available 24/7.
244-2424. If they want to, or you said they can email.
So
right?
we're trying to make this as accessible as possible, and anyone that has questions, we'll get those answered right away and just make it as easy a process as possible.
Okay. And then the nomination process, then maybe as we wrap up our discussion, you've got a group, you got a person in mind that you want. You can nominate as many as you want. What information you, the nominator, need to provide any, or how does that work?
So on the form, when you go to fill it out, it will ask you for your information first. So as the nominator, you would fill in your name and your contact details. And that is just to ensure that if we have any questions, we can reach back out to you. And then after that step, you will then fill in the nominee, the person that you are nominating for the award. You'll fill in all of their information.
Okay. And just for clarity, I gather that if someone wants to nominate someone else, they go to fill it out. They're proud of this person. They think this person is deserving. They can fill it out. They don't need to necessarily ask the person the permission, or do they?
No.
Okay.
No, you can definitely nominate. And as far as I know, that when you nominate, we will not be disclosing who nominated you. So it is anonymous.
And thanks for clarifying. The reason I ask is some of us, we appreciate it, but we don't like that publicity. That's foolishness. I don't want. And maybe 30 years later, we go, you know what? That was a nice gesture. Kind of late then, right? So if we don't necessarily have to ask, this is a good thing.
Yeah,
right?
but however, the committee will notify the nominee that they have been nominated.
Yeah.
And it's for them to decide at that point whether they accept that nomination or not.
Right. So give that person that chance.
But we still give you that opportunity. Yeah. Exactly.
If you ask them for something, it's one of those cases when maybe it's best to ask forgiveness and permission.
Yes.
And it's a good thing. Hey, I thought that what you do is worth recognizing. It doesn't matter if someone else thinks the same thing. Doesn't matter if they've been recognized in some format before. This is worthy.
We have a tendency to be a bit more reserved in nature.
Yeah.
So this is a great way to kind of like push them forward a bit without them having to do it, but then still giving them the option of saying, I appreciate it, but no thanks.
Thank you. You're right.
You know?
And the thing is, why, and I appreciate you sharing that, because I think sometimes we look at our children, why we see them a bit reticent, because we as their parents, their grandparents, the adults, we're the same way. And without realizing it, we're teaching them, oh, that's okay, you know, I don't need that publicity.
Yes.
You know, you don't need it. You don't necessarily want it, but you deserve it.
But you deserve it. And it's great to accept, gifts. This is a gift, essentially.
I hear my own words come back to me. How many times have someone offered you something good? You say, no thanks.
Exactly.
Come on, buy your lunch.
In this case, accept it with open arms and be appreciative for it.
Because that person thinks that you're worthy.
Absolutely.
And you know.
And they're putting a lot of effort into nominating you. So.
I got to find a computer and now. Yeah. I'm just kidding. All right, ladies. I certainly appreciate your untiring, commitment to our public service. Any closing thoughts, Ms. Teresa, and then as well?
So once again, we just want to encourage the public to make your nominations now. The deadline is October 15th, so be sure to get those nominations in before October 15th. You can head to gov.ky/YSCH and look for the Nominate for NHD button. Click on that and it will take you directly to the form.
And for any questions, you can email us at nhd@gov.ky or call us on 244-2424.
Thank you all very much. And I think you remind us the 15th is a Sunday, 15th of October by 11:59, not 12:01, 11:59 p.m.
Absolutely.
It closes, that's the way it is, right?
And make sure that the forms are fully completed as well.
And this is online, so it's open 24 hours.
Libraries are available to assist those that, as Teresa mentioned earlier, that are not tech savvy or comfortable. And you can do all of what you need to do right there.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for this. Not just the enthusiasm, we can see the energy and the passion and the sincerity of helping us to champion this nomination for, as you share, your cultural artists and the creatives. Not our accountants, okay. All right, we're going to pause and take a break. When we come back, there'll be some open line. I want to see the phone lines are working, so give us a shout. Stay tuned.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the all-new Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Are you tired of waiting in long lines at the pharmacy just to fill a prescription?
If what, child, let me tell you.
Well, now you can save time and money with ValueMed's online prescription service. Visit ValueMed's new website, valrx.com, and click the Refill Subscriptions button. Fill in your information and choose your preferred pickup location. Or email your prescription refills for ValueMed Walkers Road at rx-wr@valrx.com, and for ValueMed in Boddentown, email rx-bt at valrx.com. Say goodbye to the hassle of waiting in lines and hello to the convenience of online prescriptions with ValueMed Pharmacy. Visit valrx.com to place your orders today.
Are you repeatedly picked on by older kids, called unkind names, or beaten up at school?
Then you know that's bullying and it hurts.
So please, don't do it to others. Instead, let's be kind to one another.
And report incidences of bullying to a teacher or a trusted adult so that we all can feel safe at school.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And let's have some open line. Let's see who wants to be the first caller to share a thought. 949-8837, 949-6990, and I believe the toll free might be there. Certainly the WhatsApp you can call and try it as well. You can leave a voice note, or you can just send us something we'll read. 925-3261. Thanks again to Miss Mel and Miss Teresa for coming on as we talk about the nominations, which close on the 15th of October for National Heroes Day. One of our messages, as was asked and answered earlier, we'll repeat it. You can nominate more than one person. If there's a group and you nominate the group and you want to nominate individual members of the group, you can do that. You can nominate, many people. It's just not limited. You can even self-nominate from our last discussion. Well, let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hey, sir. How are you?
Well, I'm a little discouraged.
Okay. Talk to me.
I just heard these people on there from, I guess, the cultural foundation, cultural ministry.
They're from the, as under the auspices of the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage, as part of the National Heroes Day call for nominations for cultural artists and creatives this year.
Yeah, well, in my perception of what they're trying to do, it's such a vast subject. And 11 minutes was what they were on?
Well, they have been on not only with us here on Talk Today previously, but on the other platforms, and I guess what the intent is to consistently keep the message out without making people feel bombarded. Sometimes just frequent repetition with a laborious presentation might be more palatable, perhaps.
Well, yeah, and that's understandable, but with with such a vast subject, and some of the parameters that I heard described and I see in text, you know, they're almost discouraging.
Talk to me. Elaborate for me, please.
Well, I mean, you know, we talked about culture, and the name Mr. Duxer came up, okay? I think that previously.
I did reference Mr. Duxer and Mr. Radley, just as, you know, as a personal reference, yeah.
Now, if you want to honor Mr. Duxer, how many people you think that might have been listening to this program today have ever had a conversation with Mr. Duxer or talk with him about his music?
And I hear what you're saying, and even more respectful, how many of us actually recognize the name Mr. Duxer, for instance, would know. And that is so much about, you know, many in our society.
Right, and the thing about, you know, his music, it's still vibrating very vibrantly in the society, and which I don't suppose there's not much, you don't hear very much reference to it, but it is.
Well, Mr. Duxer, Mr. Dalmeen, for instance, Mr. Hopkins, but just as an example, Mr. Dalmeen.
Yeah. Right. So, you know, he gets a lot of play on radio, okay, man.
Yeah.
So I say he gets quite a bit of play. So,
well, within certain time slots, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And, so, I don't know. Hopefully that it won't be just a Heroes Day effort, that they would expand that out into the districts.
Yeah.
And to follow up on this whole thing, because we're talking about 523 years of culture.
If I might, would you help me personally? Let me be guided through my perception of you, my interactions with you. I think the general and wider community's respect for you, as evidence, you know, in a very demonstrative way, by what you have done and what you continue to do relative to culture and promotion, history, and the like, right? Only because of a very engaged and extensive discussion I had earlier with a number of people. So guide me. It's something that is, you know, not in any way intended to be anything other than an attempt at maybe asking for more dialogue. One individual said, how many of us have looked at a cultural policy? What does it mean? And
well, I'll just stop you there. Where is the cultural policy?
I'll leave that question on the table and see that's answered by others. And we have, I think this time around, the phrasing, you know, even though they're using early pioneers and pioneers, someone, not just because this person is an academic, so to speak, or may have been instrumental in the instruction of the English language at some point in our schools, but has shared, how do you have a early pioneer and a pioneer? Are we trying to establish something, but is it the word choice that is important? You're either a pioneer or not, right?
No, pioneer is early.
Yeah.
If you're early, you're a pioneer.
Yeah, so you can't have a early pioneer and a pioneer. I think, is that what I'm hearing you say? That's what I heard this person.
Well, basically, that's a part of it, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then, secondly, the person emphasized that in the Cayman context, you just alluded to it, we have 500 plus years. However, we wish to look at that and celebrate it. And whether we say, well, no, it's not 500 years, but it's only maybe 200 years, 250 years, if we just look back to, you know, our parliamentary sort of formulation.
No, 175 years about now.
Right. You know, if we go to say, 1831, thereabouts is, okay. So with all of that transpiring, this person is saying, what are we asking? What are we considering? And more important, what are we presenting? Is it that for some, Cayman's history and Cayman's cultural sort of emergence is only since 1980 or 1985 or 1990. Not, all right?
I could even take it back to, say, 1950.
Okay.
1955, 60.
Okay,
All right.
so if you go back even then, and for the record, for those listening, you were not part of this discussion. I'm reminded, even though I was trying to avoid eye contact, we have that scheduled commercial break. Not the best for conversation. Would you be amenable to let me take that so I can stay on the right side of this table and we continue discussion, or would that be a problem?
No.
Okay.
I'll pull up my water glass.
Okay, there you go. Maybe you see where you, okay, let's do that. Hopefully now water set. Stay tuned. Join us right after.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the all-new Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Family Resource Center is offering several parenting and family programs to enrich the lives of families in the Cayman Islands, supporting them in reaching their family goals, including the Triple P Family Transitions Group. Families experiencing separation or divorce are advised to participate in this program in support of their family's well-being. To register for this or their other services, contact them at frc@gov.ky or find the links posted on their Instagram and Facebook pages.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to us, and thanks to the honorable gentleman for letting us take that break. Thank you, sir, for letting us interject those commercials while we were having the conversation. As you were sharing, sir.
Yeah, well, talking about some of the, let's say, the cultural thing that should fit into this whole effort that I think is being promoted would go back, way past 1950, probably back into the early part of the 17th century, and I think there are very few people probably still around that still has a lot of these stories that probably have never been exposed, and now to expect them to come forward with the parameters that I heard described to, let's say, for the public or the community to access that information, I don't think you're going to see it.
I think you're probably hitting on something, not just the way, but is it then from a more entrenched perspective that sort of reserved nature that many of us have, because probably we see it as not something that we want to promote because we're not seeking publicity. But do you think then there's a way that we can get more of us to appreciate the invaluable history and culture that we have that is sometimes just being sidelined?
Well, I think a real concerted effort of something revolving around what was active many years ago. I say many years ago, within the last 30 years or so. 45, 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. What they call the memory bank. But I believe that may be still anything a bit active. Even I'm not sure that is. Mm-hmm. But from a cultural standpoint, maybe there should be people out there, at least 2, 3 in each district, that's going around trying to gather these stories with people that have been identified that might have something to contribute. And with today's technology, it shouldn't be that much of an effort.
It probably should be easier, I agree, but then isn't it sort of like a sort of twofold effort? The attempt on this side to go and seek, but what about from our side to come and share?
Yes.
But then our people in our society, maybe not so much those who may have had the experience from way back when in their own communities, maybe in more recent times. Let's say instead of 1950s, maybe from the 1980s on, that for them who've been there for 30, 40, 50 years and less, maybe they only see it through their lens because they don't have a point of reference, and we have not sufficiently recorded, or when we have, presented it in a way for everybody else to be able to readily access it and to appreciate its existence.
Yeah, it has not been promoted. Mm-hmm. Some people would look at it as what's she saying? Or what's he saying? What's that? This kind of thing. But there's so much Cayman Islands culture out there that's gonna die with the next grave that's closed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That we are not trying to gather, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That comes back, I guess, to the policy. The overall overarching cultural policy.
Mm-hmm.
But and I think there needs to be a lot more, as the old folks used to say, of us singing our song. I think Cayman Islands got a rich culture,
mm-hmm.
grand heritage, and we're not singing about it. Enough.
Why is that, though? Why do you think we're not singing about it? Do we not know the song? Do we not know where the stage is at? What is the reason, you think?
Well, it may even come back to our perception of our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a rich culture? Is it an important culture? Is it one that we should try to preserve from all angles? And which again, I guess, goes back to of us being educated about our culture.
Is it then that we're not sufficiently proud enough? We don't have sufficient pride in our culture? Is it that somehow we are told, either through word or example, that if you sing and celebrate, your own song, then somehow that means that you're conceited, you're anti-this, you're whichever. I'm just curious.
I think all of those.
I mean, people say, "Oh, don't blow your own horn," and yet we quickly allow, people like say Churchill to say, "Oh, history will be kind to me, for I shall read it myself." Well, who will write the truth about them if it's disparaging? Even though it's the truth, they might make their efforts look more heroic, look more, appealing.
Well, I think that there needs to be a real concerted effort of sensitizing
mm-hmm.
the Caymanian community about the importance of our culture, of preserving, or at least recording it where it can be accessed, and anybody wants to know about it can access it.
Mm-hmm.
culture and our heritage. And there have been some good efforts over the years, I think. But, you know, I mean, the subject, or the scope of the subject that has been selected for this year's Heroes Day is so vast. I mean, you know, unless it's expanded out into the districts, and I'd say a significant expansion, then you know we may lose. Well, we will lose a lot of it. Just because, or maybe they run it for 2 years or so forth. But I think I heard it mentioned that adequate time has been given. Now, I've only heard this thing being promoted over the last, I'd say, 6 weeks, 8 weeks at the most.
Well, you know, as a listener, quickly looked at a message from someone, and if I'm reading it correctly, they're taking, you know, an example and encouragement from what you shared when you were talking about in the districts, and I'm wondering if the timing of it, not just, you know, January in the new year, but the positioning of it. I'll try to reread what was said to make sure that I read it and interpreted it correctly. I understand it. But is it also how we're going about the presentation, in that it's not an all-encompassing endeavor to capture the essence of our people? It is akin to what we see in many jurisdictions. You know, a parade, a fanfare, just a pat on the back, and a lot of pomp and circumstance without substance.
Well, I think that's a good partial description. But, but I guess we do what we have to do what we can do. But I think expanding it out into the districts beyond the January, what the Hero Day is, to, as the old folks say, sweep up some of the other stuff that we know going to get missed in this effort.
I guess similar to what we gather has transpired with Celebrate Cayman and veterans and seafarers just recently with some of the awards that they had in the districts following the main event, as it were.
I think something along those lines. But I heard somebody talking about culture. They say, you know, even that effort has not been, I think, followed up.
Yeah,
it was described. So.
Yeah, it just shows that, you know, we have a lot more to do, but perhaps from what you just shared, we're not even cognizant of what we have done just yet. But thanks very much for sharing. Any closing thoughts, sir?
No, that's my just get them on there, get those folks back on there. The whole 2 or 3 shows between now and the October.
Here you go. All right. Well, thank you. Hopefully I get a chat with you again soon. All right.
All right.
Thanks again. It's going to be after the headline news for half an hour thereabouts, an opportunity to share with you another event that's unfolding as we speak. Vocals for Locals, and then 1:30 onwards there'll be some open line. I'm going to double check the calendar to make sure I'm seeing all this on my space. I'm going to pause and take a break. Is that where we're going? And when you're ready, please rejoin us, listen to our news, get informed, and when we return, we'll be talking to our guests about Vocals for Locals. Then 1:30 onwards, well, hopefully there'll be some more opportunity to engage directly with you in our open line format. So please
Radio
stay
Cayman,
tuned.
the voice, the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
With your latest headlines, I'm April Cummings. The Cayman Islands has become the latest overseas territory to join the United Kingdom government's flagship Blue Belt program, helping to expand marine protection efforts across the Caribbean. Representatives from the Blue Belt UK team, the Department of Environment, and the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency met with Her Excellency Governor Jane Owen and Premier and Minister for Sustainability and Climate Resiliency, the Honourable Wayne Panton, to present on the outcomes of the two-day workshop held last week. In international headlines, British police said today they had received a sexual assault allegation after media outlets published claims by several women against Russell Brand. Promoters postponed the remaining dates in a series of live events by the comedian, who denies the allegations. A talent agency and a publisher also parted company with Brand over the claims, which have left the UK entertainment industry facing questions about whether the comedian's bad behavior went unchallenged because of his fame. The 48-year-old denies the allegations of sexual assault made by 4 women in a Channel 4 television documentary and the Times and Sunday Times newspapers. 9 teenagers who escaped from a detention center in Pennsylvania after overpowering staff and crawling under a fence were captured less than 12 hours later. State police said today the first 4 were taken into custody just before 6 a.m. after they went to a home and knocked on the door, turning themselves in because they were cold and tired. Police caught up with the other 5 after a pickup truck and trailer were reported stolen. After a brief car chase, police found 4 of them in the vehicle. The last teen took off on foot and was caught in a field a short time later. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Today's biggest news. Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
I'm Kenneth Bryan, Minister for Tourism and Ports, and I need your help to keep our beautiful islands clean. Littering is unsightly and negatively impacts our tourism industry, which is crucial to our economy. Keeping our islands clean is everyone's responsibility, so let's all work together to keep the Cayman Islands beautiful for generations to come.
Be a part of the solution, not the pollution. Littering is a crime punishable by a $500 fine or 6 months in prison. Brought to you by the Beautification Task Force and Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
The Health Services Authority has over 120 world-class physicians offering the most comprehensive range of specialist services on island. Our dedicated team of professionals provide the highest quality care in orthopedics, interventional radiology, women's health, geriatrics, and a host of other specialist areas. We are a JCI accredited organization with a proven record of excellence. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands.
Born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 25th of September 1939, Henry Mansfield Connolly was the third of 8 children for Henry Kitchener and Olive Connolly. Following a 30-year career with National Bulk Carriers, he was one of few Brackers who worked with Cayman Energy Company doing the ship-to-ship oil transfers off the island in the 1980s. Following a medical injury, he retired from sea and started his own plumbing engineer company, C&H Plumbing, which he owned for 16 years. Prior to relocating to Grand Cayman, he was a volunteer during hurricane emergencies, assisting with the safety of the elderly in his district. Mr. Connolly was one of the original band members of the famous Brac Beach Boys, a member of the Sister Islands Veterans and Seamen's Society, and also a member of the Seafarers Association on Grand Cayman. In 2003, he was one of 500 Seamen Medal honorees for their contribution to the Southwell years.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And just as a way to showcase, continually showcasing the talent that we have, chance to share with you, vocals for locals. It wasn't that long ago that Mr. Dion, you were in the studio, and I remember right there, the live encore performance that we had. It was amazing, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
For those who were in attendance at the different events, especially the finale, got to see it. But we got a preview here. Maybe first through you. What is local for locals? Vocals for locals? Vocals for locals, yeah. What is it?
Well, as you've said, we started it last year. That was the season 1, and I brought in the champions here last time. So I'm here back again. And remember when we had that event, when we finished it, I decided with Miss Caitlin Tyson to be here so that the Caymanian people would see who are the winners are. And next year, I told them, please join us. That's why we're here. We're trying to invite everyone again. And we're fortunate to have 2 of them here with us. And Vocals for Locals is about, we know there's a lot of talents out there, especially locals. I mean, we're looking for them. So we need to find them and then make them more comfortable in their talent to showcase it to all of us. Yeah. And we're fortunate to have Hard Rock to be part of it as the venue and the sponsor of this event. And of course, Corona, De Wars, and Bacardi.
Okay. And the thing is, many of us like to sing. We do it at home while we're cooking, in the garden. We do it in the shower. Some of us actually sound good in the shower. that's just saying. I mean, nobody can prove otherwise, but I'm just saying. But some of us do karaoke, with friends in our backyard, sometimes at some of the establishments. So this is just for singers, or is it poetry? Is it dance? I mean, it's a singing contest. So
it's a singing contest. It's a singing contest. So most of the who joined the audition are former karaoke singers as well.
Yeah.
They also sing like what you do in the bathroom. So they would just they don't know that they have that talent in them that they can perform on stage with a lot of people. So Samantha here with me is a very shy lady. And she said she don't really sing in front of a lot of people, but
I think that song was made up for Shy Girl.
Yeah.
So, Miss Samantha, welcome, Mom. How are you?
I am fine.
Fine? All right. Thank you so much for coming in. And it's interesting how some of us can take a microphone, go on stage, and perform, whether it's singing or otherwise, and some of us are a little bit more nervous until we get going. What made you, what is it that makes you comfortable on stage, made you go on the stage? For those who know your phenomenal voice, but what was the thing? So we can encourage others to do likewise.
Okay. I love singing. Like what you said, we do it at karaoke with friends. I mostly do it at karaoke. I don't do it in the shower. But
hey, you don't know what you're missing.
It must be great.
Yeah.
So because I love doing karaoke, my thing, love going out singing. The only problem for me is, when I'm singing at karaoke, nobody's paying me and looking at me directly, so this is where my nervousness and stage fright comes in, because I'm standing there, I'm looking out, and everybody's looking at me. It's a great experience. I loved it, but I almost died on stage, literally.
But
it was for me, because I'm not used to it like that. So for me, it was like a challenge. But it's very fun. I really encourage all the great singers that are out there to just, try it. You will enjoy it, and you are welcome to do it anytime.
And what's interesting that, a friend just came back from Nashville, and there's a singing shop, every step. There are other places, many jurisdictions where you have that, but there are tens of millions of people in the Cayman context. You can count them, and they're talented, but an opportunity not just to be discovered, but to enjoy what they're doing. So like with you, there may be that nervousness, that reticence, but once you do it, it's fun and it's empowering. All right, let's turn to you. Thanks for joining us. I should have asked.
Yeah, Miss Alexa.
Quick intro, Miss Alexa. Quick. Tell us about you.
Just Karina, because Alexa
Karina.
Okay.
Okay.
No, it's okay.
Okay, thank you.
When they call me Alexa, I feel like,
I'm at work, so
Okay.
I'm just fine.
So, Alexa, what's the recipe for? Okay. You see, my talent comes out. All right.
No, I do enjoy singing since I was little. My mom actually put me on singing classes since I was, I think, 13.
So 4 years ago. Okay.
Oh. I don't want to say how many years.
No.
But I think after a couple of years, I took it more seriously. I was on like lyric singing, like opera and stuff. So, but I get too nervous. Even my teacher told me like, you have to go out there, sing karaoke, and do everything that you can possibly do to lose that shyness. So I said, okay, vocals for locals.
This is part of today's training. You come on this show, get rid of that nervousness. This is part of the next round.
Yeah. So it is. I don't know. I just love singing. I do sing in the shower. I do sing while cleaning. I do sing while cooking. I sing. Everywhere.
And it
even
makes
in my car.
It's something about singing. I mean, thankfully, the scripture says, "Make a joyful noise."
Yes.
I'm joyful, and it is noise, but it's soothing.
Yeah.
It does something for you.
Just relax me. Not when I'm in front of people. I kind of, relax me. When I'm by myself, I just go loud.
Yeah, it's a strange. I think for you, do you find it? And then to Samantha the same. You're gonna karaoke with friends. You sing. You take the mic. You sing. You kind of get lost in the song, and it doesn't really matter until you become conscious. Oh, this is. It's the same, right?
Yes, I also actually have a go-to song. I have to sing that first so I can lose my nerves, and then I just start singing whatever it comes. I even do duets and everything. I just lose myself.
All right. Is it the same for you, Miss Samantha?
Yes, kinda.
Kinda?
Yeah.
All right. You prefer solo or like Karina, duets?
Okay, me personally, it's very hard for me to do a duet. I mean, I would do it, but I would do a duet, but I prefer to sing by myself.
Yeah.
You know.
Your favorite songs of choice or genre? I mean, or you can go from calypso to classical straight across the country. I mean, you can do it all.
I can mix it up. I love mixing it up. So I don't have like a favorite genre.
Okay.
I do any song that I.
Like you, I prefer solos, but the solo you can't hear them. You got 2 jokes in today. Well, 1.5. To you, Karina, what? I mean, you sing anything, everything, or you have your preferences?
I think so. I sing whatever. Like I listen to a song, I'm like, okay, I really like this one, and let me just try a little bit. Because I actually was at home and I was singing a little bit, and I was singing bachata, salsa, because I'm from Costa Rica. So I listen quite that a bit.
Yeah.
So I'm just, whatever it comes, you know?
Right. So Dion, I mean, we've had a couple of sort of auditions and tell us where we are now. Tell us when we can be a part of it, who can be a part of it, and even the shower singers. I mean,
we're heading to the 4th week this coming Saturday.
Wow. Yeah,
so we had a lot of people who joined in since the start. We can everyone is invited as long as they're 18 years old and above. So there's no age limit to the top. Anyone can sing.
So you looked at me, not an age limit. You can come to. Okay, thanks.
Yes. So we're any nationalities, but we're really encouraging all locals, especially Caymanians, to join us. You know, let's be part of this. And we last Saturday we had also from Indonesia. We also have from I forgot the Spanish country there now. There are a lot of countries who joined, and we encourage more people to join in. And there's a grand prize of 2,500 CI, a second prize of 1,000 CI, third prize is 750.
Okay.
And then the 4th, 5th, and 6th will receive $250 each.
Exactly. Now, before Karina asks, Samantha, let me ask you, as Dion was sharing, many different nationalities, and for some, for whom English is not their first language, but when you hear them singing, you're like, wow, and they do it. It makes it interesting from the audience if you know the person. For you, what is it about singing that allows that person to sing in that voice, even if it's not their native tongue?
Well, I would say they like the music, you know.
Yeah.
They enjoy it. They feel free when they're doing it. So even if that's not their language, I'm pretty sure they, you have a song that you want to learn, you will sit there and be like, okay, this is how it goes. This is how I'm supposed to do it. So you get that buried into your brain, and then you can move forward with it like that, even if it's not your language. I mean.
So before we bring Miss Caitlin Tice into discussion, Karina, pick up on what Samantha was sharing.
I just want to add, even for me in Spanish, I had to sit down and stay there and kind of, get into the word. So even though if it's not your native language, even me, English, I get some problem there.
And I've seen it the other way around, where people for whom Spanish, for instance, isn't there, and they can sing that song, and you go, whoa, you sure you're not a native speaker?
Well, I think that music is there's no language, It's a universal language of music. You can hear a certain note or something and you can feel, it can bring you to tears, it can make you happy. So I think that, just exploring, pushing your boundaries. I personally love learning songs in other languages too. That's like one of my hobbies, actually. Yeah. So I love to see when people are singing songs when it's not their native language, but they're able to emote and touch everybody in the audience.
If I might, because I think Miss Caitlin and join us is Miss Caitlin Tyson. I mean, just makes the room that much more radiant.
Thank you.
For many people, singing on stage, they're comfortable more than others. And for some, as Karina was sharing earlier, once you get there and you get over that initial jitters, it's just a song. It transports you. But to get people to get up there takes a little bit of encouragement.
Yeah, a little push. For sure. And the only way to get better at it is to just do it. You can sing in your car as much as you want. You can sing in the shower. But once you're up there on a stage in front of people, you're like, oh, wow. The adrenaline's going through, you're like, you can't even catch a full breath. But it's the more that you do it, the more confidence you build, because you have that memory the next time you go on stage where you're like, oh yeah, I did that. I lived, I survived. It wasn't life or death. I want to do it again and do it again. So that's why we want to encourage everyone to come out, because we see the karaoke bars here. We see everyone at karaoke at the restaurants and everything. People love to sing. They love to have fun. And so, you have an opportunity here to win some awesome prizes and to get great experience, where maybe this could turn into more than just a hobby. Maybe later on you take it and, it's a career path for you eventually, So I think just encouraging people, there's only way to do it is to do it.
I'm glad you referenced that last part, because as I was saying earlier, there are many jurisdictions where there is a spot to sing every step. But there are millions of people competing to get the next big stop, right? In the Cayman context, there's not, not many places, not many people. So big fish, small pond, so the deal. And then you incentivize us with prizes, but we can come out and have fun just to watch.
Exactly, just to have fun, just to get the experience. I mean, I used to enter as many, competitions or talent shows as I could when I was young, because I knew one day I wanted to be a performer. So I said, no matter how scared I am, I'm going to just put myself into anything, And so if you're out there and you're listening and you have a dream of sharing your voice, sharing your talent, definitely sign up. Come out and audition for Vocals for Locals, because you never know what could happen from it. And whether you win or lose, you always will gain something. Gain experience and gain confidence.
I think what you shared, I would tell people, dream more while you're awake.
Right.
Yep. So, Mr. Martin, there is no question that for many of us, the people around us can either inspire or discourage us. The people around us can be our strong sense of support by their presence, but sometimes just the things they say and do gives us, as Miss Caitlin said, that extra little oomph. Go up there. What do you say to those who are listening? They may like to sing while they're cooking and gardening, or I was in the car the other day. Maybe I should apologize to my physician. I saw her. I was driving. I was going home. Doc was playing some good kaiso, and I was enjoying it. And it was traffic. It was just me in the car, and it was loud, and the windows were up. And I thought, why not?
Yeah.
I'm sitting in traffic. There's my physician going by, and she looked at me and go, maybe she looked up my script. She might think something was wrong with me. But it was, thank you for that. It was fun. And it was therapeutic, and it was a good release. Right? So tell us, Ms. Samantha.
Well, I would just tell them to go for it, Just get that little bit of strength and follow your friends or whoever are telling you, because that's what happened to me. Because I saw it. It was sent to me, actually, and I was called out, tagged on Facebook with it. And I was like, no, I can't do that. I'm not ready for this. I mean, I can go to the bar and sing karaoke because nobody's paying me any attention. But for me to audition and stand in front of people, you know, I'm like, I'm not ready. Then I had all the rest of my friends backing me, you know, like, no, you should try it. Go do it. Don't be scared. Just go ahead. So I went for it.
Good for you.
Went for it. Now I'm going on another round for it. I hope it
and I just love what she just said. I wish we could give her a round of applause, but
let's do that.
Thank you.
Because I think that's something that we tend to say to ourselves, we're not ready, I'm not ready. But if you're not ready now, when would you be ready? You have to throw yourself in. Even the other night, I'm a judge officially, but Dion asked me to hop up and sing during intermission, and of course I wasn't ready. I was eating, chicken strips at Hard Rock Cafe, Hard Rock, but because I have the experience of doing it so many times of performing, I'm able to say, you know what, even if I don't feel like I'm at my best, I can pull on those other memories. I can pull on that past experience. Say, okay, I'm just gonna do it, and see, and that's what you need. That's what you need. Just push yourself to go for it. So that if you have to get ready.
You'll never be ready unless you
try.
Start, right?
You have to start.
I mean, it was a Rod Stewart. People get ready. There's a train coming, right? Are we going to be on it? And are we the conductor, the passenger? Are we strapped to the rails, or are we comfortably as part of it?
Right.
And this is where Cayman to me is one of the best places, because you're not just a diamond in the rough. Whatever you are, that little pebble, you actually can be seen. You can be, honed. We have it here. Maybe we don't see it.
No, and Cayman, we have such beautiful people. We have talented people, but we tend to be so shy to share our talents for some reason. And the person who has half the talent than you has, double the confidence. And they're going forward, and they're not taking no for an answer. And, they don't care how many people tell them, maybe you should get into accounting instead of this. They say, no, I have this dream, and I'm going to do it. And so, that hurts me seeing my Cayman people just so shy to share their talents. I can't tell you how many times people have said, I want to act, I want to get in pageants, I want to sing. And I'll send them things like this, and they'll say, oh, no, I have no time. I can't do that. I can't do that. So I just want to encourage anyone who's listening, just bet on yourself. Take a chance. Just go out, have fun. You will survive, and at the end of it, you'll have a great opportunity. You'll have, it'll be lessons learned.
Miss Samantha, come on, jump in.
I survived.
You survived?
I survived because, trust me, that night I was literally almost shaking out of my shoes. I was so nervous.
So take us back, because you shared it earlier. You go karaoke with friends, and you go up on stage, and you have a blast.
Yes.
Here is a competition.
Yes.
So is it the presentation, the way a child in class, you give them a piece of paper and says, when you finish, give it back to me, and they'll go through, and they'll get everything right, or there won't be any problem. Give them the same piece of paper and say, here's a test. All of a sudden,
the pressure.
That's it. And I wonder if that's part of the problem. We're taking away the opportunity to teach, learn, enjoy, and celebrate because of the presentation. Let me say something.
Well, for me, my training is in acting, so rejection is a part of the job. I always say, if you think about your job, Sterling, here, you don't have to audition for your job every week.
Want to bet?
Or every But you get comfortable in a job. It's like, okay, you have that job and you're going to keep it until you can't do it anymore, whatever. But you don't have to every single month audition for another job, And so for me, you have to get very comfortable with being rejected, with saying, no, sorry, you weren't right for this, even though you really wanted it. You studied, you went through your lines, you put all your heart and soul into it, and it's like, oh no, sorry, we went with somebody else. And that can be really crushing. And I think it's the fear of the rejection, like, okay, I'm going out here, I'm sharing something very personal to me, I'm vulnerable, and they're going to turn me down and say no. It doesn't mean that you're not amazing and that you don't have a lot to offer. It just means it's a time for you to be for some introspection. Go back home and say, okay, what could I have worked on better? Was my performance good? Did my look match the song that I was singing? Was I in my head? Did I warm up properly before I came out? What was going on? And then just come and do it again, and you'll get better and better every single time. It's hardly ever that you'll get worse and worse and worse. That doesn't happen.
No. Which is true, and this is, Dion, before you jump in, the idea that in the Cayman context, that last part you just shared, anybody who is given the opportunity to be trained, coach, the person who likes football but don't know how to even play, over time will not become the next Barry Martinez, but will actually become better than what he was prior to the first day putting on the boots, right? So that is where Cayman helps us. But then something I think Ms. You just shared, you may be good, you may understand it, but you don't just rest, people immediately come to mind, the Mick Jaggers,
Mhm.
the Michael Jacksons, they're constantly honing their craft.
Right.
They're the top of their game, but they're trying to get better
Yeah.
because they see the sky and it is the limit.
Is you can't become complacent,
Oh,
you know? It's with any skill, you have to keep learning, you have to push yourself. You
Mhm.
know, you can't just be like, this is where I feel comfortable, so I'm going to stay here. Unless you want to just have a hobby or, just have fun. But if you see yourself doing more, if you want to actually improve, you have to go past your comfort zone. For this singing competition, that's what I feel like is a step outside of the average person's comfort zone, where you're singing comfortably, at karaoke, and now it's like, okay, one step above. How about you perform that song as if that's your own song? Give us your version of it.
Cue Samantha. Are you okay? So, song competition.
What can I say? I mean, yes, I do love karaoke. I think what's the problems for some of us, like me, for instance, I go out to karaoke, I'm happy, but to know that I'm going to stand in front of a judge, I'm going to be judged, that gets in my head. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to be good enough. I'm going to sound horrible. I'm not ready for it. Then I'm looking at them and they're looking at me. So, yeah, this is for me.
Is there a song? Looking at them, looking at me, looking at them?
I don't.
There is.
Looking at you. Look
There-
at,
yeah,
what is that?
there's a song, right?
I think it is.
I'll tell you.
I think it is.
There's a song for that. Back in the day, there's an app for that. There's a song for that. So, Karina, from that, though, I mean, because it is fun. I mean, singing is fun. It is, I said, therapeutic, but there's something not just liberating. You grab a friend and you just sing and rock, and you can be fishing, you could be driving safely. Singing can be fun.
It can be very, very fun. Actually, same as Samantha. When I saw the vocal for locals, I saw it for weeks. And I sent it to a friend, and I was like, should I just do it? Because I'm going to be honest, I do get nervous. And she was like, you know what? Go get uncomfortable until you feel comfortable. You know?
But that's it.
Life
That's the
is
only
about
thing you have to do.
experiences.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what life is about. New experiences.
We can hear many, sayings, oh, the pearl is formed with this, the diamond under pressure. They're good, but sometimes they're not sufficient. So, Dion, with this, it's not just pressure. This is an invitation to have fun. Who knows what it may lead to, as Ms. Caitlin shared. This could be a career for someone, a discovery. But if nothing else, it could help them come in the morning in their classroom as a student or as a teacher. Or there's a business that they want to propose, but they're not quite sure how to make that presentation. So you got a few more rounds coming up, and this Saturday is the next one?
Yeah, there's a lot of people interested to join us again this weekend on Saturday at Hard Rock Cafe. I think there are about 9 again this coming Saturday. And after that, we will have on the 30th. And then on October, we will have the 7th, the 14th, and the 21st. So, yeah, I'm excited to this, especially that, of course, the reason why I'm becoming more comfortable is because of Miss Caitlin.
I can understand
we
why.
have big plans for it.
Yes.
But she's so busy with Miss Universe, that's why. She's part of it, right? I mean, but that's fine. That's more important.
No, but I'm glad you referenced that
Yeah.
because I think something that Miss Caitlin shared, I don't want to. Okay, this is fun, but there's a level of, for one of the seriousness and professionalism that we bring in. Get comfortable, come on, but who knows what it can.
Yes.
If we look at other jurisdictions, and we're quick to compliment, but so on the same token,
She has big plans,
Yeah.
or she lady with a great vision.
Yes.
What are you looking for in your contestants? They come up on stage. If you, as a judge, is that okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. And I love you asked this question. And I also love that you ladies are being so honest about the
Yes,
experiences,
yes.
that it's not easy. It's really nerve-wracking, to put yourself out there. I think that's something important for people to hear because you see the people performing on stage and you just think, oh, I could never do that. Like, oh, she's doing it so easy. It's like everyone starts somewhere. Everyone starts with that shaking and then you get through it. For me as a judge, what I'm looking for really is connection, because first and foremost, I am an actress, so I want to see you connected to the song that you're singing. I want to see you looking out into the audience, not eyes closed, but really embracing, standing there confident in singing your song, even if you have to fake it, you know, because sometimes we can hear in your voice that it's nerves, and we'll give you a pass for that because we understand the process. But I want to see you connected, taking yourself seriously as well, because we see so much great talent, right, Deanna?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They come out and they're like, the voice is out of this world, but they're just like, oh, you know, I'm just here, no problem, no big deal. And I'm like, no, man, like, do you realize you could be like the next big thing? Like, you know, you have that kind of talent. So taking themselves seriously, from the look, from the presentation, and also finding a song that works for your voice, that's a journey in itself. You know, we hear our favorite singers, like some of my favorite singers are Toni Braxton, Anita Baker, Tracy Chapman, and those are all altos. They're deep singers. I'm a soprano, so I could never sing one of their songs on a stage like that unless I had it modified for my voice. But those are the singers I love, you know. But you have to find the song that works for your voice and really, really sell it to us. You know, we want to see your personality shining through. So make sure you rehearse at home so that when you stand on stage in front of us, that we're just seeing you having a great time and really singing the words of the song, feeling the words of the song. Because if you're singing a ballad, a sad song, a love song, I want chills all over my body, you know? So that for me is the most important thing, is the connection and the confidence from start to finish.
I like that, the connection, the confidence. In closing then, Ms. Karina, as Ms. Caitlin shared, do you know the song for your voice? You know, like she shared, she loves these songs, but you know, that doesn't work for her because you know. If that's okay to ask, I mean, maybe it's a trade secret, but
no, I am also a soprano, so
that's a show on HBO, right?
Yeah. Soprano, not the same one, but no.
So I was getting nervous there. Like, should I be here? So.
But vocal focus, actually, that's one of the things that the judge told me. Like, you should keep in mind your tone of voice and choose accordingly, because I chose one of Sam's speed that I thought it was a sweet voice, kind of relaxed. I really like calm songs, acoustic. So I thought, well, I still think that's
you could do a Callum Scott probably.
Sorry,
you could probably do a song by Callum Scott. Not the guy from the back, but anyone.
I don't know. I'm actually, for this semifinals, I'm going very through listening different types of music, but I still haven't found a song that I like. Okay, this is the one that I want to sing, you know. But
so homework has been work together.
Yeah. And that's what we do as judges too. You know, we don't just kind of send them on their way. We give them pointers to improve. You know, maybe you could try this artist or do this. You know, we're there to help you all improve as well. So it's not like we're just judging you and get out of here, you're horrible. Like that's not it. And you know, always think. And I like to tell even my clients when it comes to judges, you know, just think that they're all on your side. You know, we all want you to be amazing.
Yes.
No one wants you to be horrible. You know, that's the anxiety in your own mind. We want you to be great. We want to say, oh my gosh, yes, yes, yes. So just know we're on your side. The audience wants you to be amazing, and just come out there and do your best.
Okay. Samantha, what about you?
Honestly, I do not know where soprano, but I think, or I know, I can pretty much do different type of songs. I mean, I love Beyonce, Tracy Chapman, Tina Turner. I do all different type of songs, so I cannot really tell you what what I am.
So
soprano, alto, I don't know.
Dion, you're not a soprano, are you? I'm just checking.
Dion is everything. He's everything.
He's the guy with the oakish voice. No, but this is where it's fun for you guys on stage, and you are encouraging. It's also wonderful for us in the audience because we get to see the talent. And you know, not just when the finals approach. And when you come back on again, we won't sing unless you want to. Close us out, Dion, with the invitation. So this coming Saturday night, Hard Rock. What time?
That's actually starting at 8 o'clock in the evening. So please come over. And remember, it's not only about the enjoyment, the talents that you see. We're also supporting our Golden Age in West Bay and Maple's House in Walker's Road. Yes.
Right.
So it's not only about the singing and the enjoyment, but we're also helping the community.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's what's important. We're doing this together. We're having fun. I join Miss Caitlin in thanking both you, Mr. Monty and Miss Green, for coming in. And yet on stage, you sing and you showcase your talent without any great sense of nervousness. But just in the studio, it's a different environment, and we get a bit nervous. But that's not a bad thing, right, Miss Caitlin? This reminds you that blood's pumping through your body.
Well, yeah, the nerves just mean you care, you know?
Mhm.
Nerves are good. Just transform them into excitement.
There you
Because
go.
they'll be there every time, whether you've done it once or a million times. You'll always have those little nerves.
Well, I'm hoping that we get a chance to come back in, definitely after the finals, but even perhaps before, as we
Or
enter
maybe
the second round.
allow us to come here again, you know.
Yeah, man. We'll make it happen, man. Your people call my people.
Was this the Sopranos that we're talking about? I got
The
it
only
off
thing
of-
I learned from this, the other thing that I learned from this show is the surprises. You're like surprised to see a person like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, last year the finals, they really came out. They showed out. It was a beautiful performance. So even if you just want to come and watch the finals, definitely. And everyone who's auditioning or getting through the semifinals, just start thinking about your show for the finals, because there were fireworks and smoke machines and glitter, and you know, it was amazing. So I'm looking forward to upping the ante this year.
There you go. All right. Well, this coming Saturday at Hard Rock. Thanks very much. And thank you for taking time out of your schedule and coming in. Always appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
All right. Well, this coming Saturday evening, I shall be... No, I'm not. All right, stay tuned. Join us after this for some open line.
Thank you, guys. Subway fans, we're upping our sub game with the all-new Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number, and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. The ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom. The land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
Maintaining your yard is a challenge. Between the heat, the mosquitoes, or the high cost of landscapers. But Caymanians have always valued a neat yard. It keeps your home feeling blessed and keeps your home value up. Greenview 1820 Lawn Care ensures your yard looks and feels its absolute best, whilst offering affordable prices, serving both residential and commercial.
Hi, I'm Jordan Rankin, proud young Caymanian owner of Greenview 1820 Lawn Care. Please give me a call at 939-5198 or email us at greenviewnursery1820@gmail.com. I guarantee our landscaping service and look forward to working with you, my fellow Caymanians.
Family Resource Center is offering several parenting and family programs to enrich the lives of families in the Cayman Islands, supporting them in reaching their family goals, including the Triple P Family Transitions Group. Families experiencing separation or divorce are advised to participate in this program in support of their family's well-being. To register for this or their other services, contact them at frc@gov.ky or find the links posted on their Instagram and Facebook pages.
But I do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. If I look at the digital device on the wall, it tells me the time, and we want to invite you to be a part of our discussion. 949-8037, 949-6990. You can try WhatsApping, 925-3261. You can send us a voice note. You can, put something on the screen and we'll read it. Or you can call it. I think it works, but I'll know for sure. 925-3261 is the WhatsApp. 949-6990 or 949-8037. Even the toll free might be there for those who can. 1-800-534-8255. Good fun just now. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was will inspire you not just to consider being a part of the Vocals for Locals, as Dion and Miss Caitlin was sharing. Not only to showcase our talent, but to have fun. More importantly, to remind us that we can achieve great things, and the Cayman community provides for many that opportunity that may not be as readily available or as accessible, or sometimes you may not find the nurture and the support because in larger jurisdictions there are a lot more people and it may be perhaps more difficult. So it's not only a case that in here in the country you are a big fish in a small pond. That is the part and parcel. But we can celebrate the uniqueness, the beauty, the opportunities that are here. So one of those is right now to pick up the phones and give us a shout and share your thoughts, and we can talk about anything. You can ask any question. May or may not be an answer, but at least the question has been asked. You can query, you can comment. We need to champion this democracy that exists in our community and not take it for granted. We're going to see, I'm convinced of it, more and more of us realizing that the things that we thought once have changed because we've now been enlightened. We may have been encouraged. We found the courage to say something that we were a bit afraid of. Wouldn't want to say coward, but we were afraid. We may actually come to a space where what we thought was perhaps something that we once supported, we realize, it's an opportune time to share publicly our perspective on it. And that may cause other people to do likewise. If, as we said, our hearts are pure and our hands are clean, we're doing it without any ulterior motive. We're doing it not just to be contrite. We're not only seeking amends. We're not trying to find a way to somehow, as my friends would say, as they go into confession, they're not making a penance. It's something that is significant enough that we have to share so that others can appreciate that they too no longer are laboring in vain or laboring alone. And that's the beauty of a healthy democracy. You ever seen your father come and apologize for something? Hopefully it doesn't have to happen often, but it takes, I'm sure because of the women in our society, the example is much more readily evident, but it takes a big man, a big person to acknowledge the misgivings and shortcomings, the feelings and the like. But it isn't, that is going to hold us down. That should build us up. So, if you're there and you want to share, 949-8037, 949-6990, or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. Then you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Now, increasingly, many people have been sharing recently about the cost of living. The notion that because of increasing interest rates on our loans, we're finding that payment that we have to make to the banks, for some, it's a monthly basis. Some may pay weekly, some may pay monthly. Maybe even one or two may have quarterly installments. But those committed payments at that defined period have increased, partly to keep up with interest rates increases, partly to retire the agreed loan over that term. But in any event, it means that we have less money because more money is coming out of our monthly income. Well, what does that mean? Is that something that can be addressed? And we can castigate the banks as we do with the politicians, but is it justified? Is it something that can be addressed? Just complaining about it perhaps isn't sufficient. Is there something meaningful? Very few people would say, well, they want the banks to go under, not only because it would create unemployment for those who are working and now have to find another source of income. Not only could it negatively impact an economy, not only the shareholders and other stakeholders could lose their investments. Nobody is advocating, promoting, or desiring that. But is there a way for it to be, perhaps much more positioned in a way that better serves the country without people making allegations of greed and the like? Well, 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, or 949-6990. Now, one of our listeners says, you think the cost of living and the challenges are difficult? No. If you think it's bad? No. What if gas hits, $8 a gallon, which conceivably it could in short order? One of our listeners, mentioned that perhaps as the House, that's our Parliament, is set to open tomorrow, maybe we could get a petition, some of our centre MPs, where individuals could more easily secure financing, perhaps build, on their properties, even to the point where they're living on it as they're paying for their land, as opposed to what some have alleged. You buy the land, you got to pay it off first, and then you go to the bank for the house loan, which could be, decades down the road. All right, let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon, Sterling.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm good, thank the Lord. I'm good. How you doing?
Oh, man. Awesome. I'm very, very thankful.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yep.
I was listening to the little words that you're trying to throw out there to, gather some people to come and give. I like when you do that. You try to start something. I like it though.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. Last year my bonus was in 7 figures.
Yeah, man. Don't forget me when you get your lump sum. So, but I was listening this morning to the minister when he was on there with OC, and I wanted so much to get on there and ask a few questions, but I guess it'll be another time. God spares life. But what you were just mentioning there about the cost of living and everything else, and he was mentioning this morning, I don't want to quote nothing much that he said, 'cause I don't want to put anything wrong out there, but the cost of living, and I was speaking to somebody some days ago regarding this minimum wage. I really I can't grasp the why our government would, or Parliament members would even consider taking such something to the board as a $6 minimum wage especially for Caymanians. We were talking about why Caymanians don't do these jobs because of the pay. And you can't blame Caymanians for not doing that, because we are in our own country. And for us to go out there and make $6, $7 an hour, but 1 gallon of gas costs $7. How we gonna survive with making $7 an hour, $6 an hour? I think that it's so out of hand for our leaders even to entertain the thought of mentioning a Caymanian making $6 an hour.
Right. So let me then ask, and I certainly want you to weigh in. Are you of the view that we have a minimum wage? Well, let me ask it start at the beginning. You in favor of a minimum wage generally?
The thing about it is, Erlen, you gotta be so careful how you say you're against it and you're for it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because when they change that, if I say I am against it, let's say for instance it was my vote and my vote had to count for it to change. When that change, that means that the minimum wage, let's say they put it from $6 then to $8. That is only encouraging the other, like what old people talk about, basket of people to come in here. That is encouraging them. But then if you don't try to do something about it, then how are the Caymanians then going to get somewhere in life? So you see, it weighs out in the pros and the cons, and it becomes a serious issue to topic on, because it can help or it can destroy, and that is what people got to be so careful with. So there should not be any limitations down on the Caymanians working in their own country, making $6 an hour. That should not been from day one. That should have been changed.
So
that should be implemented only for the foreigners that coming in, that they start off at $6 an hour in our country. That is different.
So then, if I'm hearing you, we will have one minimum wage for work permit holders, and then a higher minimum wage for Caymanians.
Yeah, because all right, let's say for instance those same ones that come in here and talk about their like what they were saying this morning on the talk show, they're hire lawyer. Why would you bring a lawyer into this country to make $6,000, but the Cayman lawyer that's been here all his life only making $4,000, and he's not at a higher level than the Caymanian here? You see, that this is where the problem comes in. And when they start a problem as such, there's not going to be any way of solving the issue. Because let me get to another point. They were mentioning in a few words slipped from the minister mouth this morning regarding pension, and he said that the pension is becoming a problem. And I always said from day one, how are the government going to be able to pay the Caymanians their pension when they retire, if they're paying the foreigners the big lump sum, the big payouts, the big pension, and the foreigner take it and go on to another country and leave us here in a bind with nothing? Then how are the Caymanians going to be able to get their pension when they put in their time? So the weighing the pros and the cons, the first thing they need to do, Sterling, and you hear us saying that time and time again, and I know sense of them talking about they going in caucus to get things fixed. They need to worry about fixing us, not caucus, fixing us.
But then
that is what they need to worry about. They need to fix the Caymanian problem. We have a problem because if you check on the news, Sterling, I mean to cut.
No. This is for you.
If you check on the, I was looking after the news yesterday, and insurance rates are going through the roof in the state. And you see disaster after disaster, hurricanes after hurricanes. When these things happen, then the Caymanians are not making the salaries. How are we going to be able to afford to move from point A to point B when the fluctuation of the gas is constantly moving up? The companies have the right to put up their prices. But what happened to the government? They're overseeing everything else, not worrying about us as the people. So where do we stand? When we can't buy gas, when we can't buy food, you imagine going to the store and paying $100 for a bag of dog food?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so when we look at that, for those of us who shop, who work, not just the person who, we adopted the term on a fixed income, right? Maybe they're retired, maybe they have some sort of system where they receive money on a regular basis, but it's a defined fixed amount, right?
Yeah.
If we look at the Cayman context, and it's probably increasingly evident that it's global, that gallon of milk now is probably $10 to $15.
Exactly.
The gas is probably going to soon be $8 a gallon, right?
Yeah.
Our parents always instilled in us that a dollar saved is a dollar earned.
Yes, yes.
And reflecting on what you're sharing, multiple conversations with people over the last few months, and wondering to what extent we're looking at what's happening, and to what extent the international events that are unfolding are impacting our shores. And wondering, A, are we cognizant of what's happening? B, do we think there's a way that we can do something in a positive way about it? Right? Take minimum wage. Many of us would say, well, I'm only making $100 a week. I need to be making $200 a week. And that's probably true because their expenses are more than $200 a week, right? Or approaching $200 a week, or are $200 a week. But then that extra increase, will that push up the cost so that at the end of the day, what was now $200 a week in expenses is now $400 a week because they're going to be paid for somehow?
But the thing about it is, Sterling, who is there? Who is there for the people? Who are there for the people? That is the question. Who is there for the people? Because if you have the merchants that are out there doing their business, and they up their prices in the stores, in the lumber yards, it doesn't matter.
Across the board, right? Okay.
Across the board. Then who supposed to be there for the people of the Cayman Islands? For them to feed their families off of making virtually nothing.
Right.
Because if I go to the store here and I walk out with $200 worth of stuff, I can basically put $200 worth of stuff in one plastic bag and come out the store. But is the store people dropping their prices? No. Is the government putting in a pressure on these private sectors of these stores and the gas stations? No. And this is where we fall. This is where we fall wrong.
Right.
You hear them talking about, we need to deal with this issue, we need to deal with that issue. But where is they going wrong? Not dealing with the issue of putting the Caymanians first to say, listen, let's worry about our people, and all the other rubbish can come after.
Yeah, man.
You have to deal with your people first.
We got a break and very shortly as they tell me to go there, but in listening to you, I'm wondering if we're willing, as you're doing, let's ask the questions, let's acknowledge that something needs to be done, and then let's figure out what possible solutions exist. And maybe from what you're sharing, we're not even asking the questions, much as seeking solutions, right?
That's right. That's true.
All right. I appreciate it, man. We can talk some more when you're ready.
Yeah, man. Anytime, Bo.
All right, Bo. Take it easy, huh?
Yeah,
all right. So we're hitting the break, and I'll just follow the instructions as my people direct. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Good and cleaner.
Get 7% off on prepaid orders, $20 or more, using the most popular eco-friendly cleaning solvents. We also offer drapery works, bulk laundry to hotel and condos with free pickup and delivery. Visit us at Savannah Countryside or Eastern Avenue drive-thru, rain or shine. Call 949-7104. That's 949-7104. Puritan Cleaners. You feel good when you look good.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Introducing Digicell's all-new prepaid plans. Packed with more any-use data than ever before. Entertainment data for the apps you love, like Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. Plus, endless social data for Snapchat, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So you're always in the know. Stay connected. Stay entertained with Digicell's new prepaid plans. Activate in the My Digicel app today. Digicel. Better connected.
I love Pizza Boat. It's yummy. It has my two favorite things combined, cheese and boats. Pizza Boat makes pizza way more fun.
Hop on board the Pizza Boat Express. Kids, now Pizza Boat makes pizza even more fun. Summer is here. Lunch or dinner, let Pizza Boat bring the fun. Pizza Boat, a Cayman twist to pizza, bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas all day, every day. Pizza Boat, now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Pick up or delivery 949-0000 or order online www.pizzaboat.ky.
Radio Cayman, your #1 community station, would like to remind you that we are in the hurricane season, and in order to survive a hurricane, you need to be prepared. If officials' sources say a hurricane is imminent, please board up or shutter up windows in your home or place of business. Remember to use good lumber, as makeshift boarding may actually cause more damage. Also put strong bracing on outside doors so that they are not blown off or blown in.
This hurricane advice was brought to you by Radio Cayman, your caring community radio station.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
A video message this weekend from the Department of Education Services provides an update on how officials are working to make sure schools are safe. This after an altercation caught on camera that shows two boys at the John Gray High School gym fighting with another who was injured as a result. DES Director Mark Ray says they take the incident seriously, but also notes it does not define the school, which he says consists of caring, dedicated staff and wonderful students. In international headlines, former U.S. President Donald Trump is facing new blowback from anti-abortion activists for refusing to commit to national abortion restrictions and for calling Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' signing of a 6-week ban on the procedure, quote, a terrible mistake. Speaking Sunday on NBC's Meet the Press, Trump repeatedly declined to say whether he would support a federal ban on abortion. He said he could live with the procedure being banned by individual states or nationwide through federal action, though he said from a legal standpoint, he thinks it's probably better to be handled at the state level. Since Federal Reserve officials met in July, the economy has moved in the direction they hope to see in the U.S., with inflation continuing to ease, if more slowly than most Americans would like, while growth remains solid and the job market cools. When they meet again this week, the policymakers are likely to decide if they can afford to wait and see if the progress continues. As a result, it is expected they will leave their key interest rate unchanged when their meeting ends on Wednesday. Those are your headlines. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, I'm April Cummings.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage and the National Heroes Day Committee invites you to nominate an individual or group that has dedicated their artistic work to creating awareness of Cayman's culture and heritage. To nominate, visit gov.ky/YSCH by October 15th.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have bars Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. It is open line as we go straight to the phones. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. And for those who want to join us, it's 949-8037, 949-6990, or perhaps even toll free at 1-800-534-8255. A WhatsApp call, and WhatsApp call only on 925-32621. Hey, welcome. Thanks for sharing.
Hi, good afternoon, Sterling. How you doing?
My good friend, how are you today, man?
I'm giving thanks.
All right, man. Good to always hear from you.
Well, I was just listening to the end of the last caller. I mean, you guys are talking about the cost of living and the driving factors of, or the key driving factors of the cost of living. But I guess there's no easy way of breaking it down. But let's just look at the facts, right? We know that compulsory items that we have to consume are some of the key factors that are driving the cost of living, such as energy, food, and obviously housing, which is mortgages. And we know that we have 2 fuel providers on our island, only 2. And we know what the issues are. Governments know what the issues are. We've heard them talk about the issues. But have we seen any real move towards dealing with the issues that we face when it comes to the compulsory items that we have to purchase that are the key factors of driving the cost of living? No, we haven't really done anything meaningful to try to reduce or try to make it more sustainable for the general public. And when I say the general public, I mean everybody across the board, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously there are some sectors of our society that gasoline at the pumps don't matter to them, food at the grocery store don't matter to them, and their mortgage don't matter to them because they have the financial means to accommodate. Now, if we keep telling ourselves what the problems are, and we keep having these committees to talk about the problems, and we having all of these political huddles and their own political groups and parties or systems to use the issues that the people are facing as a political football to try to mitigate who's doing the most for which sector in order to get the political, mileage in order to be reelected. I think the people in the middle is who's suffering, and which is the general public, right? We know that the cost of living heavily hinges on the fuel factor on our island. Every single consumable in the Cayman Islands has a fuel factor attached to it. But have we seen any group of parliament or party or politicians make any meaningful effort to try to mitigate the overwhelming cost of fuel? I mean, right now we got premium at $6.27 CI. We got regular at $6.12 CI. That is north of $7.80 US, right? There is no justification on any global market why our fuel should be that high, other than the fact that whenever global markets increase, somehow here in the Cayman Islands, we take it and we magnify it by 1,000 times. We increase it at the pumps, but it never seemed to come back down to the normal rate when the prices go back down. We've seen it steadily increase, and then we have seen it gradually over a period of 10 years come down. Right now, this year, 2023, marks 9.5, almost 10 years since we've been enjoying low global prices of crude, with some fluctuations. But the Cayman Islands have never really ever enjoyed or had that impact here in the Cayman Islands, simply because we do not have any regulation in place to ensure that the global prices in which the rest of the world is enjoying, the Cayman Islands also too can enjoy. Now, we're not in any way trying to say that companies or businesses shouldn't maximize profit.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also being very mindful that they shouldn't be doing it in the absence of a regulation that allows them to do it from a sustainable standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll round off that with this. So when we look at the systems that is causing the greatest issues for the cost of living, if nothing changes in that system, that means it must be a very heavy push in the opposite direction of the needs and sustainability of the people in order to keep it that way. So you have to ask the question. So the most reasonable question in the world is to say, hey, what interest does our political parties, groups, or persons have in these industries that are causing the issues in our country with the cost of living? Hence the reason why nothing has really ever been done. Now, we've heard politicians talk the good talk. Or we're going to write policy, we're going to put regulation, we're going to do whatever we can. And then when it all materializes, they've done a big fat zero, nothing. All they did was talk about it. Got people excited, got people encouraged, and then nothing really ever happened. Kirk Tibbetts was the last example of that, when he got out on the podium and had this big, glorious I have a dream speech about putting regulations in place for the fuel company, only to find out that it was just a big smoke screen. And the people of these islands are suffering. The gentleman before hit the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm.
And as many other people who've called your show, we have interest rates that are affecting mortgages in Cayman that shouldn't be, because our politicians sit flat on their hands and decide not to do anything from a legal standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
How much do they expect the general public, especially the people who are feeling it the worst, how long do they expect those people to endure this without some sort of rebellion or some sort of issues that are going to cause major social problems in the Cayman Islands? How long, are they waiting for it to tip the scale until it happens before they try to put something in place? This is what I don't understand.
Yeah. As I listening to you and looking at a couple of, well, literally two individuals messaging, I picked up on what you were sharing and the caller before. The question has been asked, how do we bring this about? Is it, as this one says, is it a new sort of approach to governance? The second one asks, is it then a new approach to business in that,
Well, we see now where members of parliament have filed motions for audits for the utility company, right?
Mm-hmm.
In regards to how they purchasing and dispersing fuel and how they charging people. Listen, there is a laundry list of questions that we can ask the utility company, right? And rightful questions and questions that need answers. And I'm glad that somebody started the conversation. But the reality also is that it's a holistic problem. It's not just them, because let's look at the facts.
Mm-hmm.
There are two fuel providers on our island, right? Seoul and Rubis, and that's no secret. So I feel like I can say it publicly without any fear of issues.
Right.
Anyway, we have two major fuel providers on our island, okay? And 60% of the fuel that the utility company use comes from Rubis. The other 40% comes from Seoul. So 100% of the fuel that they consume comes from the two local providers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, don't you think that there's a fundamental breakdown within our government, knowing that every year that we are subjected to a contract that is giving them the ability to charge 100% of the petroleum products used at utility company to the consumer?
Uh-huh.
But yet, as a government who should be representing the people, so government equal people, in my opinion. So you're telling me that no government has ever felt the need to ensure that the local utility company that have the right to pass that fuel cost on to the public have not made sure that they have been shopping for the best prices of petroleum within the region, that the consuming public who is responsible for paying for it has the best price possible? We've sat blindly and quietly on the side of the road and allowed this to happen for the last 4 to 5 years, and yet no one wants to have the conversation. So government know what the problems are, they know what the issues are, they know what causing the cost of living, but not one single person has the backbone and the braveness to go out and create the change. Hence the reason why you have to ask the question, how many members in the private sector that run in these private institutions that driving the cost of living up so high, has gone out and secured their political puppets to ensure that nothing changes? That's the question we need to start asking, because that's a real question.
Yeah. Well, as I listen to you before we take the next caller, your comments raise questions. One is perhaps, given, as we understand, CUC's license is up in 5 years, there is a trigger within the... Huh?
I can't wait, because they're not getting a new one, I can tell you that.
But from what we understand, that sort of notification to negotiate or to renew needs to be triggered before year end, right? And we're halfway through, this 9th month, right? So we don't have much time left. But with that in mind, why is it that this phrase commercial interest, commercial sensitivity, is being bantered about when public funds involved? We hearing it now increasingly relative to the dump discussions, right?
That term, commercial sensitivity, is to protect the individuals and the institution in which is benefiting on the backs of the poor people of this country.
Mm-hmm.
I can assure you this sensitivity of information has become the biggest obstacle to attain the correct information in order to have the best chances for the people of the Cayman Islands. So when you saw that the FOI structure was restructured simply because politicians were afraid that they would be subjected to a Freedom of Information Act, these are the sort of things that we need to have serious conversations about, because, Sterling, I can assure you, Caymanian people can't take this no longer, Anyway, I'll let your next caller come on.
Thanks, man. Thanks. There's always, learning opportunities when you chat, man. Thank you very much for that. And I'm told we got the final break to that caller with utmost respect. Please just remain online and we'll get to you right after.
Get ready for more with Digicel's all-new prepaid plans. More any-use data to browse. Entertainment data for Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. Plus, stay connected with endless social data for Snapchat, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. With Digicel's new prepaid plans, you'll never miss a beat. Activate in the My Digicel app today. Digicel. Better connected.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
The Business Buzz. Each and every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 7:30 a.m. Brought to you by
Cayman Insurance Center, celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services.
Please ensure that food preparation utensils are washed with a strong detergent and rinsed in hot water in the event that they have made contact with flood water. Boil silverware for 10 minutes and immerse glass, porcelain, china, and plastic items in a solution of hot water and 10% chlorine bleach before use.
For more post-hurricane food safety tips, visit DAH website at www.gov.ky/DAH.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
You're welcome back. Thanks for sharing, for calling. Let's go to the phones. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing good, bro. How are you?
Awesome.
Yeah, man. I couldn't agree more with the caller, the last caller you had. On point.
All right.
You know how struggling it is for us as Caymanians living on this island, and especially with the cost of living and how we going. It's almost as if they don't have no consideration for us, the ones that can't compete with the rest of them. Now, when they look at this diversity thing, this whole diverse economy that we have here in Cayman, and then there is the ones that are trying to trump others and telling them what they can and cannot do, and what should be allowed and shouldn't be allowed. Now, with my concern into where we could be on this island when it comes to legalization of marijuana. If we wanna improve the employment rate, I think that, I'm saying this off of experience with a friend of mine that I have in California. She was struggling to find a job as a person that is born and raised in California, and she had struggles finding out where she could work ever since she graduated from school in 2012. And, ever since the industry blew up with the marijuana legalization there, she's found a job within a month in a dispensary there, and she could have kept up with her cost of living. She could have kept up with everything else, and the opportunities that would bring for a lot of Caymanians and just in general people.
Right, but let's take your point a little further. Right, it's not perhaps just generally speaking, not just that particular sector, that particular product. Is it then that we're talking to diversifying the economy, providing, as they say, more legs, more opportunities for people? Are we too concentrated in Cayman relative to our employment prospects? The cannabis industry might be one opportunity. We talked about medical tourism, but is it that we're not sufficiently ensuring that there are more of us who are able to access? And I'll expand on in a second, but what do you think? Is it that we've too narrowly focused on what we have to offer?
Well, this is the thing, though, Mr. Sterling. I understand that we have a lot of nice, great opportunities for work, but not everybody qualifies for the work that is available.
Agree.
So if there is only just a limit of qualifications that you can have, and you can't even meet one of them, I don't see what qualifications you would need to be a farmer, for example, other than the fact that you need a piece of land.
Right.
I don't see any qualifications you need to be a person that knows about plants, other than the experience and willingness to plant a seed.
Right. I'll actually even go one step further, though. I hear what you're saying, but I think maybe that's where we are either doing ourselves a disservice, or we're allowing this thing that is being said so often, perhaps even within our homes and our schools, that devalue our abilities, our ambitions, our entrepreneurial nature, or potential for economic gain. So take the farmer, for instance, as you referenced, right? Mm-hmm. What if we encourage people not just to be agronomists and botanists, but we look, if he doesn't mind, Mr. Coral Whitaker and the example through the deployment of technology into farming with primitive greens, for instance, and potentially by extension, the inability, unwillingness, the potential for bureaucracy and societal uptake and all those things that could inhibit entrepreneurship growth, right? Let's take it even further than that. Again, I'm happy to, and as I say, take licks for what you say, but it's just an opportunity to question, to ask us, is it now absolutely essential that we start to think and be more proactive, because the wolves are at the gate. The cost of living is increasing globally. Seemingly the accessibility to food and the like is becoming, in many cases, critical. We see reports coming out from world bodies that talk about the increase in farming that has to take place, but because of different reasons, it's going to lead to a lot of famine in not just developing nations. We hear people use the word supply chain interruptions, and we think, do they even have a clue what they're saying? Is it even true what they're saying to the extent that they're saying it? But come back to the Cayman context. We have financial services in all its facets, and we have hospitality. Are we ensuring that our people understand the opportunities that exist today? Not just 20, 30, 40 years ago, but today. The graduate who is going into high school and will graduate at the end of this high school year, or the one that just come out. Not just the opportunities, but the money that is being made. And are we encouraging enough people? Are we consciously discouraging them? Are we maligning the industry in certain sectors? Or are we only painting a negative picture for some people? These are questions I wonder if we're serious about asking and ensuring that they're answered.
Yeah. Like I say, I'm just only going based off of my my findings and people that I interact with. I talk to a lot of people, and I try my best to see how can I reason without being a disagreeable person, because I'm a highly disagreeable person, and I don't like to just hear nonsense and then just try to make sense out of nonsense without having to understand it. And I look at it in the ignorance of the people that believe that this whole entire marijuana industry is evil, pure evil. Nothing is more evil than destroying your own homeland and by degrading people by their abilities, because maybe I smoke ganja and they say, oh yeah, no good, but then yet I can answer some questions that you were baffled by. And we can agree with something, but then you don't agree with what I'm saying. No, like, is this just about, oh yeah, I'm better than you, or is it just because of, oh yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm refusing to agree?
Yeah, but I mean, to your point, right, and having an exchange with one of our listeners, and in answering this listener, let me say it publicly, right? We talk about legalization versus decriminalization. We see one of the questions coming before the House tomorrow from the private members' questions, and like asking about an update, with this referendum, right?
Yes, sir.
The understanding that I have is that we can talk about decriminalization versus legalization. Have you understood and sufficiently educated our people on, is there a difference between those two words? If so, what is it? Secondly, if we're going to move towards changing the present legal framework, what is it we're going to adopt, and why, and how are we going to position the industry? To your point earlier, or to your points earlier, right, today and previously, are we going to embrace the sector in a responsible way that economically the country can benefit through, say, taxes, economically, so that people can see it as a viable commercial opportunity? Are we going to take away whatever potential exists for the illegal criminal behavior that may surround certain activities, right? What about the effects on health, positive and negative? How do we ensure that we get more of the positive and as less and less of the negative as possible? All right. Alcohol was once illegal. We read in history. It was then made legal, and seemingly some of the bootlegging and other illegal activities surrounding it went away. But it doesn't mean, just in the Cayman context where it's legal, that we don't see people selling alcohol illegally, right?
Yeah.
So does this country willingly turn a blind eye to some things because we don't think it's important, or because we're so overwhelmed by some things that we don't prioritize that thing? Is it that we're, as a country, unwilling to acknowledge it? We don't have the skill set, the resources to deal with it? I mean, there are a lot of things that we're not properly acknowledging.
Well, Mr. Sterling, you check this out.
Uh-huh.
Because I was just talking about this morning, and with a friend of mine, and what I was thinking, right, is now as we speak with the activities going on with the marijuana use and with confrontation. For example, when you see something that you don't like, normally you would have approach it in a manner where we could be reasonable and say, hey, what you're doing there is actually not right, and can you please carry it somewhere else? For example, if you was around the place and you see how, for example, Burger King in Waterfront, and we all know that alcohol is legal in Cayman. You can drink your alcohol apparently anywhere you please. If you go to Burger King hours of the night in Waterfront, you will find, and it's not a question, you will find people sitting down on the side of the parking lot, and if not in the parking lot itself, with a six pack and drinking their alcohol, enjoying themselves. And that is public use of alcohol, which is still a drug.
Right.
You got people that are in the public park. For example, another one, Airport Park. You will find people sometimes of the day, maybe after work, sit down in the hut in the park where children would be playing or families will be enjoying themselves with alcohol. And there's a group of people that would be doing it and partying like it was no tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
And I still am baffled, how are they allowed to do such activities just because it's legal, that they don't respect the actual laws that are put in place to help prevent a confusion. But nobody cares about it because it is legal. So, or is it the fear that because something is going to be put legal, that is going to be out there used just like any other substance that is legal? And if that's the case, then that means there's no respect for the laws.
Yeah. Well, perhaps it's also maybe us willing to turn a blind eye to some things, because us who are the enforcers, us who are the regulators, us who are sort of the contributors. Now we are at the end of a program. You have a quick thought you want to share before we call it a day?
Oh well, I was just thinking about how the incidents with these schools and stuff, like when are these schools going to sit down and talk with the parents one-on-one and actually try to see if they could work together instead of trying to work against each other.
That's it. Excellent point.
PTA meetings are very important, and they are very seldom.
Well, I appreciate you putting that in, and thank you for always for listening and sharing when you can, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks very much. And that last point the caller made, others have shared it, unity. When are we going to start working together? To the exchanges I've had with listeners relative to the issues before us, always appreciate that. And maybe the idea as the caller reference about cannabis, perhaps that discussion needs to be had, but more than just what we're thinking of doing to decriminalize. Is there something else that could be more beneficial? Are there serious, significant ill effects if we don't get it right? Not just to our health, but to our economy. You may have a perspective, I may have a perspective. They could be very much alike, but where are we talking to see if they are? They could be diametrically opposed. Are we willing to sit to the table to see whether something sensible can be had by a meaningful conversation? As we close, one of our listeners shares that you need to have some basic knowledge, of theory of farming. When it comes to farming, we should understand how utilizing technology and employing hybrids and for not just fruits and vegetables could also be economically advantageous. But what is the nutritional value of some of the things that we may grow using technology? Well, this is where we have much to offer. If we would be willing to step up, we can benefit greatly if we will be willing to listen and invite people to share. But to a friend from the back and others, where is the courage? A good friend from Savannah, Mr. Rankin, who sits with us often, presented it. Do we have the courage, as Mr. Mickle says, to step up, stand up, and do the right thing? Well, join us tomorrow for more Talk Today after the midday news. If we walk hand in hand, if we walk in unison, are we prepared to stand in strength? Until tomorrow.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman